We are recording. And we should be good. Let's call to order the Planning Commission meeting held at Common Council Chambers, City Hall, Room 100, Tuesday, August 10th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Item number 1, roll call.
Mayor Knightsky is excused. Alderperson Kastner.
Present.
Steve Rogers is excused. Brian Weiss is excused. Don Carlson.
Present.
Dave Schills.
Present.
Bob Krenz.
Present.
And Mike Braswell is also excused.
Okay, we still have a quorum. Item 2, approval of the minutes from the July 13th, 2021 meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Did you get that?
Yep.
Okay. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, motion carries unanimously. Item 3, discussion regarding last common council meeting. Do we have anything?
Yeah, there were the 3 public hearings, the land use amendment and rezoning for the property on Forest Home from a commercial property to a single-family residence. There was a massage special use permit in the My Salon Suites, and then the shoot point blank ordinance amendment to allow shooting clubs recreational in C4 and C5 zoning districts passed along with the special use permit for shoot point blank along West Layton near Highway 100.
All right, that's all good stuff. There has been a request that we take item number 9 out of order. If there's any objections, I might as well go ahead with item number 9, architectural plans for Playtime Doggy Daycare. Number 3, a proposed dog boarding business to be located at 4333 South 108th Street, submitted by Greg Powalski, doing business as Playtime Doggy Daycare III, and Todd Reardon, doing business as Greenfield Investments, LLC.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. This project was before the Plan Commission last month. They're going through the special use permit process, and that hearing will be later this month. But at that time, they hadn't provided us any architectural renderings, and Plan Commission wanted to see the architectural renderings and modifications before the public hearing. So primarily, they're repainting the facade, the front facade, adding some new ephes to the eastern portion or northern portion of that facade. The metal paneling had been started to be installed on the south facade. They're continuing with adding the vertical metal paneling for the south, north, and a portion of the south facade, and repairing the ephes and shingles as needed. There was some damage to the building that will be repaired as part of this project. So just an architectural rendering showing the ephes along the garage door portion here, and then the painting of the building with a gray and blue motif. So relatively complementary to what's there, just a nicer, a little dressed up version of what's already existing on site. The public hearing, due to a publishing error in the Now newspaper, the public hearing was scheduled to be at next week's Common Council, but the Now newspaper forgot to publish one of the public hearings, so we needed to move that back. So there's going to be a special Common Council meeting. So staff recommends that the architectural approval be held along with the special use permit public hearing on the 31st.
So it'll go on the council agenda at the same time?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Along with the site and landscaping plans.
Gotcha. The fence in front of the door that's right in front of us, that's no longer there?
The fence to the left of the front door?
The garage door, there was at one point going to be like a board-on-board fence in front of that?
No. No, there's the play area is on the left side, on the south side of the building. That would be board-on-board fence.
Okay, and there's no fencing in front of that garage door?
Not in front of it. Adjacent to the building there are 2 swinging chain link fence doors. Those are going to be board on board. The remainder of the fence along that north property line.
Perfect, yeah.
Plan Commission said could stay chain link as long as the slats were replaced.
All right. I must have misunderstood you when we talked months ago. Any other questions? I'd entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. We'll fight over
You
again.
guys can take turns.
Yeah, hey.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries unanimously. Item 4. Sorry for the delay, but it wasn't ours. It was the publisher's.
That's okay. That's okay.
Certified survey map for proposed combination of two parcels located at 8711 West Forest Home Avenue, submitted by Yusuf Asmani and Annie Asmani, and doing business as Annie Acres.
Thanks. So this proposal was also before us last month for the special use permit. In order to develop the lot, there are two existing parcels currently under one tax key. So to develop the commercial property, there's a proposed CSM that would combine the smaller parcel, the 0.8 acres, along with parcel 2, which is 1.9 acres. And there was the property gap issue. They're going to include the gap that runs along the south property line here. It's about a 15-foot wide gap along the municipal boundary, which also is the property line. They're including the gap into the CSM so the applicant can claim the property per adverse possession under the state statute 893.25. So it will eliminate the gap from the city's record, essentially.
Does that match up with the city board boundaries?
Yeah, the municipal boundary with the village of Greendale is the south property line, essentially.
So now it is, right? Okay.
Yep.
I'd make a motion to approve the CSM as presented.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries unanimously. Item 5A and 5B, special use permit for Greenfield Pet Hospital, proposed veterinarian office to be located at 5005 South 76th Street, submitted by Christopher Roth Medical Management International, doing business as Greenfield Pet Hospital. With that, then, the site plan review for Greenfield Pet Hospital, proposed veterinarian office to be located at 5005 South 76th Street, same as I listed before.
Thanks. So the proposed special use permit for the veterinarian office, which is a special use under the C4 zoning district. The applicant is planning on leasing 3,500 square feet of the tenant space in the multi-tenant commercial building, which is almost complete along 76th and Holmes, where the Five Guys will be the corner tenant, and then Stanton Optical is already open in the south tenant space. They anticipate seeing an average of about 27 pets per day and anticipate having about 9 employees per shift. Their proposed hours of operation are 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily. So they'll be taking this center lower tenant space, the 3,500 square feet there. These are the front and rear elevations of the building with their signage attached. They will have outdoor pet stations, which will be located in front of the tenant space. There's also an indoor pet cleanup station. They have indicated that they'll have staff making the rounds of the property twice a day to clean up any waste that's outside that any clients don't remove, and that includes waste from pets unaffiliated with their office. Just any animals, if they find anything out on the property, they'll clean that up twice daily. The pet hospital use requires 12 off-street parking spaces. The remaining tenants require 55 off-street spaces for 67 total. The site does provide 69 parking spaces, so they do have adequate parking on site. Staff recommends that a public hearing be scheduled for, that should say, September 21st.
Any questions, concerns?
No.
I'll make a motion to approve the special use permit and to schedule a public hearing for a pet hospital, proposed pet veterinarian office to be built as listed, as well as the site plan review for adoption on the same date as the special use.
Public hearing.
I'll second.
Mouthful second, yeah.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries unanimously. Item 6, temporary use permit for Spirit Halloween, a proposed business to be located at 4200 South 76th Street, submitted by Amy Reinhardt.
Thanks. So Spirit Halloween is proposing to have a temporary use of the former TJ Maxx space in Spring Mall. They would open in August, likely sometime soon after approval, and operate through November 15th, so through the Halloween season. Their hours of operation would be a little shorter than the listed hours, the 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. to begin with, but as the full Halloween season kicks into gear, they'd ramp that up to have a maximum hours of 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. They anticipate 10 to 20 employees. Staff recommends approval. We have spoken with the applicant in the past. There have been issues with Spirit Halloween going into tenant spaces and not getting an occupancy permit. They're aware that they need to do that. They're also aware that they need to have any signage approved and permitted prior to installation. But staff has discussed that with them, and we recommend approval of the temporary use.
Any,
No, I'll make a motion to approve the temporary use permit as presented.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion carries unanimously. 7, signage plan appeal for Crab du Jour, a proposed full-service restaurant to be located at 4638 South 76th Street, submitted by Gerald, I'm going to mess this one up, Holewski, doing business as Holewski Architects. Did I get it wrong? Sorry, they're not even here.
Yeah, he's not even here. So the new Crab du Jour location going in the TJ Maxx, when they were coming through to get signage, they indicated to staff that they were only interested in having wall signage, no monument signage. We let them know that with their 2 proposed wall signs, they would be using up all of their allotted 200 square feet of signage for that business location. After approval of the sign permits, they then came back and said that they actually did want a monument sign. So they are requesting to rebuild essentially the existing pylon sign for TGI Fridays, that use that same location, but erect a monument sign with a scored CMU base. The sign face would essentially just be this black face with a crab design. In order to sort of compromise, knowing that they were going over the allotted 200 square feet by the 36 proposed, they did suggest that they would be fine to remove on the largest sign on the building, the lower portion of it that just says Cajun Seafood Restaurant and Bar, and retain the crab. That would remove 17.5 square feet, so they'd still be over about 18 square feet, but staff felt that that was an appropriate compromise, so staff recommended approval of the monument sign.
Is there any line of sight problems with the monument sign?
It shouldn't be. They'll be able to keep it 5 feet off of the property line and out of the vision triangle.
Looks like you have thoughts there.
I do. I'm having the sign that, the monument sign that they said wasn't going to be there to begin with, doesn't make me happy. But taking away Cajun Seafood Restaurant and Bar doesn't,
It doesn't spell out what it is.
yeah, it doesn't even,
Describe anything.
They do have, the proposed sign that they would remove the Cajun Seafood Restaurant and Bar is on the north facade, so not the primary facade, the west facade. They also have a sign of similar size, or a similar design, it's just slightly smaller. But they didn't have room on the 76th side to have a sign this large, whereas the east-west orientation of the building is larger, so it could accommodate a larger sign.
if we're going to approve the monument sign, I have no objection to leaving the other part. Anyone else?
No, I agree.
I don't either.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Well, we'd have to change the,
Approve with the, Allowance of-
without removing the 17.5 from the wall sign.
And staff's concern was that we don't want this to become a precedent where people indicate that they don't want additional signage and then come through
Change
and
their
are able
mind,
to.
you know.
I agree
get
with
signage
that. Then
waivers.
we shouldn't give them the monument sign at all. But, I don't know. I'm still content with what's on the floor.
I agree.
So we have a motioner in a second, don't we?
So it's a motion to not remove the 17.5?
That's the way I understand it. Any other discussion?
I'm torn because I understand what Andrew's trying to say.
I know, I don't want to approve the monument sign whatsoever just because of that, but we're not there. 17 is not a big number. And it is the north side, so that's probably the most prevalent side that,
Coming off the freeway?
You know, there's a lot of traffic on that road, and I think it'll be beneficial for them to have.
see, I don't think they need the monument sign at all, but that's just me. They're not here. So are we in a consensus?
I don't know if we have a consensus.
No.
Thoughts at all for you?
I just, like Carl said, you know, the monument sign is just it just came out of the blue.
Have we done this before? I mean, has the precedent always already been set? Didn't Starbucks kind of do the same thing to us?
No, the Starbucks signage plan was approved, I mean, as a general master signage plan, so they were able to get a sort of additional signage as part of their site approval.
Well, just be frank, they didn't lie to us.
That's true.
Well, I mean, they can change their mind. too,
Okay,
you know.
don't overuse the word lie. Yeah, that is a problematic, but the solution here isn't any better.
And again, torn because you want to see them succeed. You don't want them. And I don't think the road sign's a make or break over succeeding or not.
I think the building sign does much more use, especially with something like this. Once you get close, with your phone, by Google Maps, you'll be able to see the building because of the wall sign, not because of the street sign.
I wish we had better pictures of the.
Yeah, that does suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of the proposed sign, or,
This picture.
Yeah, although they might get some just drive-by business too, people
Oh, that's better.
driving by on 76th Street, which is very busy, and then,
Okay,
See if
so
they're there.
silly thing, can we table this till next month till we can see all the building signage?
yeah, they've already received their 2 wall signs.
Those
and
all-
and those, so I can present those at
Only
Plan
reason I ask
Commission.
is because if the consensus feels that just the wall signage without the road sign is more than adequate, then yeah, they didn't bring it up at the right time, and quite honestly, they're not here. And I don't want to say it's disrespectful, but if you want to talk about it, you should be here.
Restaurants are busy at this time of night, but that's besides the point. There's an architect that's doing it.
I guess if we're gonna go the one way where we're not gonna allow it, I just wanna see what the signage looks like, the previous signage looks like, and if it's, looks like it's adequate, then they don't need the road sign.
So essentially, on the image shown, the larger sign would be here. So this is the sign that they're proposing removing the seafood,
And that is
Cajun
still pretty,
seafood.
that's still pretty far away.
and they'll
from
have
the road.
their other sign, which is the exact same design, just a little smaller, about, on the front of the building here.
Those are the only 2, nothing on east and south?
Correct.
Yeah, I got nothing. If they would have presented it all at once, we'd probably accept it.
yeah.
And the monument sign won't cause a problem for driving into those. Isn't that the driveway for
Best Buy.
Best Buy? And the same person owns both properties.
Yes. Yep.
Just ask that again, the word Cajun seafood restaurant and bar is gonna be removed from which side, please?
From the north side, so from the back of the building here.
And it'll still be on the front?
It will still be on the front.
Oh, that's fine.
Then I make a motion that we approve as presented.
Okay. So to get this right, we had a motion on the floor, it died of lack of a second. Do we have a second on this one?
I'll second.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion carries unanimously. Well, that was way more
That was a lot.
fun than I expected. Item 8A and 8B, special use permit for Midwest Veterinarian Specialists, proposed veterinarian office to be located at 6815 West Layton Avenue, submitted by Mark, designed to construct at Mary, and Dr. Mary Berg, doing business as Midwest Veterinarian Specialist, as well as the site, which is 8B, landscape and architectural plans for said property.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. This is not the
That's not
right
the right one.
photograph. I think that actually got moved when I bounced around to item 9 earlier, so
Gotcha.
apologies. So the applicant has an offer to purchase the .97 acre parcel for use as an animal hospital. The property is zoned C2 Community Commercial District, which allows veterinarian services as a special use. Dr. Mary Sarah Berg Butler will operate 2 businesses out of here, both of which are covered under the special use permit for veterinarian services. Midwest Veterinary Specialists will specialize in, will be a specialty animal hospital focusing on orthopedic and neurologic conditions, physical rehabilitation therapy, and sports medicine and conditioning. And the other business will be an urgent care, the XXX Animal Urgent Care. So they will provide urgent care animal hospital services with a focus on providing timely care for owners of small animals, including cats, dogs, and exotics, for routine and for urgent health care issues. Both businesses anticipate opening with limited hours between the hours of 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. daily, but their 2-year plan is to increase that to be able to be open to provide 24-hour service. So they will be 24-hour emergency services. Between the 2 businesses, they anticipate having approximately 24 employees and anticipate 10 to 20 clients daily. They're proposing some substantial alterations and improvements to the site. Their site plan, they're showing they're adding curb to the parking lot along the north property line and along the west property line. Right now, the asphalt parking lot slopes down towards the sidewalk. They're proposing removing the asphalt, installing a decorative CMU retaining wall between the parking lot and the sidewalk. They'll be installing landscaping along this edge as well, and they do have approval from Milwaukee County to do that work. They're proposing adding outdoor animal areas with enclosed board-on-board fences on the south portion of the building here, and then again on the southeast portion of the building here. They're proposing having an MRI trailer on site in the south parking lot that will be used depending on the nature of illnesses for the animals that are brought in, could potentially be used for 24 hours a day, including overnight services. The MRI trailer does make sounds. They're sort of clicking sounds with the magnets on site. They've indicated that they don't anticipate this would provide it would be detrimental to any neighboring residential properties, that it wouldn't be loud enough to be noticeable for residential properties that abut to the south. In the rear parking lot, their current plans show closure of an existing exit entrance right here and making angled parking along this section. Staff feels that this provides poor circulation and kind of not a very safe circulation. So we're actually recommending that they retain the exit here as is. They'd be able to keep the angled parking. They would lose probably 4 to 5 parking spaces, likely these 3 and these 2, but that it would provide a safer circulation to have one-way drive access here and be able to exit here, rather than, if a car is, say, right here, there is no real way to turn around. They would essentially have to back out the majority of that parking lot, which staff doesn't feel would be would provide safe circulation. Staff also is recommending that they add curb to the southern portion of the parking lot and this southeastern portion of the parking lot. This is sort of the city's one chance to make these improvements, and we feel like it's a little haphazard to have curb added to the majority of the site, but not add it to the southern portion of the parking lot. The applicants indicated that they feel like there would be some ponding issues with installing the curbing here. They're proposing to make slight grading improvements to the north portion of the parking lot. The engineering department, in looking at this, indicated that, you know, if they made slight grading improvements essentially right here, they would be able to direct the stormwater off-site through here and be able to direct it with the curb to, there's an inlet here, or it would be able to sheet off if they were able to keep this exit open. That stormwater shouldn't be an issue with some slight grading changes located right about there. They're proposing extensive exterior alterations, modifications. So they'll be removing the large storefront windows, the large metal mansard roof on both the entrances, the east and west entrance. Proposing adding exit doors to the south facade, which is where the animal play areas would be located. So that would be the way the animals would get out to that, not play area, but outdoor animal area. Proposing adding sets of windows on the south and east elevations. And then the largest changes would be for this north facade. They'll add new storefront windows, aluminum composite panels, fiber cement panels infilling here. And I've got some better renderings that I'll bring up here shortly. The metal fascia added to the north facade, so at the entryways here. So these are renderings showing the exterior modifications, which are a vast improvement over what's on site now. Staff feels like this is will enhance the building tremendously. There is landscaping proposed along. This isn't all of the landscaping that's proposed, but this rendering does show the arborvitaes, which should also help to screen. There'll be a board-on-board fence here as well, but the landscaping, when mature, should help to screen the proposed MRI trailer that will be in the back parking lot. Here's a view showing the retaining wall. Landscaping is proposed again in between the retaining wall and the sidewalk. And a rendering of the rear portion of the parking lot. So again, staff is in favor, recommends the special use permit, thinks that these exterior modifications are tremendous and going to be a great asset, but we do recommend making the site improvements to the rear parking lot. The staff recommends the public hearing be scheduled for September 21st.
Can you go back to the, one minute. Show me the picture of the alley on the south.
Yeah, this,
Yeah, that bothers me too.
well,
Go ahead.
go ahead, yeah.
That concrete there looks like it's a total disaster. Who's responsible for, repairing that ahead of, the approval?
I mean, if it's on the subject parcel, it would be the applicant's responsibility. If it's the city alley, then it would be the city's responsibility to patch it.
Okay, because
And then my question from that is, if you leave it as they proposed it, where the trees were there, I think that too is another way of shielding that MRI. And I kind of like that.
I mean, landscaping could still be installed here. They would only be losing a few shrubs. I mean, even the corner tree could be installed here on the existing corner.
And as far as the parking lot, when they say that you have to pitch it, I'm assuming that this parking lot's going to get redone anyways?
Portions of it are going to be repaired and patched as needed. The asphalt that's in good condition so far is proposed to remain. But again, they're making some grading changes, essentially on the northwestern portion of the parking lot anyway. So that will be all new asphalt up in that general area.
And not to sound like a smartass, but that it doesn't look like there's pieces that can be left as is. That's just my opinion. It looks pretty ratty. Mm-hmm. That's why I asked if they're doing it already, then you can totally regrade it so that it can pitch that way and you don't have to worry about that curbing.
Right.
But I guess this gentleman would like to speak.
Good evening, my name is Mark Griswold, design and construct. We have a couple concerns with the last couple of requests you just discussed. To answer your first question about the asphalt, we did plan to grind up and reset the lot. The lot's in pretty rough condition. But that's just it's a quick mill and replace. It's not a complete regrade of the property. When we were first considering development of the property, I called and spoke to the city and spoke to Christie a little bit about what our intentions were. At the time, we indicated that we were going to replace the parking lot. I explained to her the extensive remodeling of the exterior of the building. That whole front edge of that parking lot is a disaster as you head towards Layton Avenue. It's all falling onto the county's property. We decided that we were going to fix that with a retaining wall along the entire front property line of the building property, which is quite expensive. She indicated to me at that time that she would like to see curb on the west side of the property to get rid of the wheel stops that are currently on the site. She didn't like the wheel stops. She thought that would be a good addition to the site. We agreed that we would be happy to add it to the west side of the property. And as we looked at how the front property would grade when we installed the retaining wall, we realized that we would have to regrade a little bit up there to fix the retaining wall and thereby added some curb as well. We thought that adding that in was a good fix because it's on the primary facade of the building. It faces Layton Avenue, and it would really dress up the facade. The back side of the building, where it's going to have all the landscaping, and we're trying to screen the MRI machine, the curbing that we're going to put in, you're not going to see from the street edge. It's going to only be seen from the inside of our property. It doesn't do anything to improve the vision of you can see that back corner. It's just an alley. The closest residence, even to the south of us, he's 50, 60 feet from the alley even. It doesn't add anything other than cost for my client. And we're already taking this blighted property and we're really doing quite an improvement on this thing already. The additional cost for all the linear footage of curbing. I know we're regrading some areas already, but regrading that back parking lot, grinding it up, getting it off there, regrading it, coming back and laying it down, it does require some additional costs that we would like to not incur. We also feel that the parking area, while I understand staff's concern on that, the intention is that is employee parking. When employees come in, you see this all the time, right? Stack the employees to the back, keep as many spots open as possible for the people who are coming to visit your business. And we left a 24-foot wide aisle between the back of one car and the MRI machine. That is the width of a typical parking aisle. So there's more than enough room for cars to circulate and try to get off there. It's not super convenient, but it does provide us those 5 additional stalls that we would like to use for employees in the back of the building to keep as much of the west side and the north side free for any clients that might come to our property. We still have 2 points of access for the emergency crews. The most convenient one on the west side, on the southwest corner of our property, and the one going out to Layton Avenue, so the circulation is still good on the property. We would like to have the project approved as presented, so that we don't have to go through the installation of the additional curb. We just don't think that we're not going to get any bang for it.
There's no security, or not security, but, exiting threat or concern that the people can't get out of there quick enough because of that entrance not being there. Is there?
No, I mean, staff and engineering's main concern was just that it's going to be difficult, despite the 24-foot drive lane, to be angled and have to maneuver, I mean, especially these vehicles, but, there's not a ton of room to do that turn all the way the other way. And there's already an existing exit here, so the suggestion was to make it a one-way so that there's still able to be angled parking, but be able to provide easier circulation, to not have to do 3-point or 5-point turns to get out, to just be able to back out and pull forward and exit the site.
I really like that entire corner landscape, though.
I am with you.
I mean, I think that outweighs the employees having to
And it's the employees.
back up twice.
It's the employee's headache, if you want to call it a headache.
And I can live with the curbs not being installed in the back. I hate to go against staff again, but I can see this being the employee parking. I mean, if you had to, you could even double park back there, because the doctor probably leaves last
Employees are gonna have to
and
back
gets
up.
there first.
It's only two or three of them. It's really not I understand the concern. If we were proposing this for client traffic or for the general public, I would agree 100% with staff. It's a terrible idea, but considering it's someone who's gonna park there once, they're gonna be there for 8 or 10 hours or 12, then they're gonna back out once when they leave. It's, the amount of traffic you're gonna see is almost zero.
That beige area where the garbage enclosure, I think, is, that's open, that's not fenced in all the way to that, is it?
That is fenced in, yes.
The whole thing?
It's got gates on the front and it's got a personnel.
No, the majority of the concrete slab won't be, just,
yeah.
yeah, just the gates here.
Misunderstood, yes. The majority of that concrete slab is free.
So most of those would be really easy out.
Be the 5 in the corner that'll be problematic.
And there'll probably be the first 5 there, and the other cars will be gone, and it'd be really easy then, too. Everyone agree?
I do.
Pretty much as is, as presented, without staff's
Recommendations?
and the back parking lot, everything else?
I agree.
It's a big improvement.
I was gonna
It's
say,
a huge, we've been begging
yeah.
for this.
that thing is, as you said, it is a blight, and I welcome it.
It's been empty for quite a while, too.
Has, yeah.
I think we can accommodate,
The back
yeah,
employee parking
yeah. I
to
don't think that's
gain a corner of
that's not a
trees.
game changer, no.
Yeah. So who's gonna take this motion on that we just kinda wiped together? Will you be able to understand it if we move ahead?
Yeah.
Make a motion to approve with staff comments, except for the improvements or modifications to the proposed plan in the back parking lot.
I definitely second that.
Anything else, other than welcome to Greenfield? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, motion carries. You gonna do water therapy? Oh, wow, I won't have to drive to the north side? All right, good.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Where are we, 10?
10.
Ordinance to amend section 21.04.0902 for municipal code pertaining to decks, patios, and porches, breezeways permitted in the required front yards. Didn't die?
I thought, why is this being brought up again? I thought it,
This was tabled at last month's
Was
Plan
tabled?
Commission. And this was requested by Alderperson Akers to bring before the Plan Commission. So, if Plan Commission could make a recommendation to either approve or deny, but to allow it to move forward to have a public hearing.
being the person that's on the other end of these things, so on the zoning board, they're not often, and I think that it's not that big of a deal to, if you get 1 or 2 of these a year to go through them.
Yeah, I agree.
And I guess I don't look to moving that forward.
I have to agree too. I mean, there's so many spots that it'd be good, and there's so many spots that would really be bad.
Yeah, I think it'd be good to take it on an individual basis.
I think you have to do that because you're gonna tick people off no matter what you do.
Yeah. You want to speak at this issue? I was wondering why you're here.
All right, have at it.
Tom Slaki, I own property at 3527 South 46th Street. I bought this house in 2009. Already had an existing porch there, wooden porch. It was falling apart. It had no
Footings?
footings anywhere. So I was gonna just redo it and put those cement blocks down there, just like what they had. Redo the porch and use, the ultra-decking, an ultra-deck railing.
Is that yours?
No,
Well,
no, that's not mine.
that's beautiful.
And, it's just an 8 by 12-foot porch. And they told me that I would have to apply for a variance, which is gonna cost me $300 to get this done. this guy said, well, I'm gonna come over and see what we need to do it properly. So I said, well, I'll apply for a permit. Okay? And I find out that you can't have this in front of your house. It was already there. I'm trying to do it properly without a variance, and I'd have to go through this big hassle to make a permanent structure that's not only viable, but beautiful to my property. Now I don't understand why this isn't allowed in the city of Greenfield. I paid for my property. I maintain, what, 8 to 10 feet of the city's property on my property that I paid for, and then I have to go through all this hassle to make improvements. I know I'm talking a lot.
No,
I
it's,
just want to do my porch. I have to get a variance. I want you guys to sign, building engineer, or you looked at my blueprint, sign off on it, but I had to come here. So I don't have to wait until September 21st before it goes before the whole council. I want you guys to sign my paper, please, so I can get a permit to get this done.
If in fact we decide that we want to go to a public hearing and amend, we're talking months.
I mean, I already bought everything.
I'm telling you, I mean, if we actually make the modification here tonight, it has to go to public hearing. The public hearing has to be scheduled, has to be posted, and then it has to be approved at the council. And that is months from now. Your faster method is going to the Board of Appeals. Board of Appeals?
Yeah, they're roughly equal. I think the council meeting and the zoning board of appeals are a few days apart in September.
And then you schedule those as needed, right?
Correct.
The Board of Zoning Appeals.
Yeah. I know there are good examples, but I also know they're bad.
I have no porch in front of my house.
And they'd probably look a lot, yeah, I hear you.
I have a back door, but it's a safety issue for my kids to get out of my house. I mean, can't we work together? Can't we
but
figure this out?
the honest answer is, we don't have the authority to sign off on your paperwork.
Means nothing.
But
I can give you a signature, but it won't mean anything.
Right.
No.
And don't take it as we don't have empathy for you. We understand what you're going through, but I think we're looking at two different things here. You know, you have an immediate concern, and then this is the overall concern for the city of Greenfield. Your immediate concerns are, unfortunately, we can't approve. We're not the approving body for that. But then I guess back to this subject here is, so somebody wants to put a front porch, and say this goes and it gets approved, they still have to come to you for a permit, do they not?
Yes, they would need a
And they're
permit.
still gonna have to go ahead and abide by all the zoning laws for that. Would we then have to come out with sizes of porches that are allowed in Greenfield, or is this an all-out, they're just allowed, period? I mean, how would this work?
Yeah, I don't know that there are, I mean, we would probably have to amend the zoning code to specify. I mean, I think that there are size limitations for decks. Yeah, I don't approve those often, the building inspector does. I know that there are portions of the zoning code that mention sizes, but for front decks, yeah, they would need to adhere to the setback requirements, but as it is now, I don't know that there's any size limitation. Those are sort of the issues that are looked at zoning board of appeals to make sure that the scope of the porch, you know, matches the house and isn't going to be detrimental to neighboring properties.
And again, I'm being on that board, it is few and far between when you have meetings like that. I mean, they average one a year, and I guess I don't mind it.
But this is archaic, this is old. Everybody wants new looking, positive porches, decks.
And
I mean,
this is-
Are you rebuilding it?
how old is this law been or ordinance?
And here's the thing about it, is when they do come before the board, sir, as long as they're, realistic and make common sense, they've never been, not approved. They've all been approved.
That's all I want is approval.
Understood, but you have to follow a process. I mean, great for you that you got it all. I mean, I know how it is just to get wood, but.
It's true.
Yeah, you just gotta follow the process. I mean, I get it.
Yeah. But you're not rebuilding it like it was, I take it?
Oh, it's still gonna be 8 by 12, but I'm gonna use ultra decking. I'm gonna put footings, I have ultra deck railing.
So, if he's rebuilding it in the same fashion of what he's replacing,
Mhm.
why are we here? Why is this an issue?
Because it wasn't allowed in the first place.
Oh, it was built without a permit.
It was built without a permit. There's
I
no
gotcha.
footings, nothing.
Tough.
And I didn't know that when I bought the house.
Oh,
Okay, but now I have no porch, and it's a huge safety issue for my family.
so what was approved? Can we go back that far? You could obviously do that. You have no stairs. It's probably 3 feet up in the air, too.
32 to 34 inches, depending on the elevation.
So you probably had just small stairs coming off,
4 stairs.
just straight off.
When could a Board of Zoning Appeals, meeting take place?
It would be the fourth Thursday of September, so let me pull up the calendar. And there already, I believe no, there's one this month.
Oh, so wouldn't there be the one this month?
Yeah, there's one, well, no, because the notification deadlines, we would need at least 30 days to be able to get the notice publish it. So it would need to go to September 23rd.
Either way, again, we can't help this gentleman.
It's too broad of a spectrum to approve.
Yep.
It's not you, we're not wanting to, it's somebody else that it doesn't fit.
Well, I make a motion to approve amending the ordinance to allow porches and decking, and I ask that you guys approve it, that's all I ask. And then let it go before the council. So if I get it approved here, then I can at least go to the,
That isn't what is on this table, sir. I'm correct, right?
Correct, yes.
Right.
the ordinance.
It would still, it would still require a public hearing at the full common council meeting before that would even be approved, so.
If it's approved here, then it can go.
Well, if Plan Commission recommends denial of it, we can still schedule a public hearing, which is what Alderperson Akers is requesting. So even if Plan Commission recommends denial, it could still have a public hearing in front of the full common council.
I'm just asking for approval, so I get this done, please.
Okay. Either way, we could approve it. It sounds like we have to take action out of this. I don't know why we have to, but it's not like it's an applicant making this request, it's a city making it, so. But either way, if it comes out of this body onto the council agenda, that would just be on the council agenda to contemplate scheduling a public hearing.
Couldn't the Plan Commission recommend that we schedule the public hearing for September 21st?
Or we could deny it, and then we could take it to the council, and the council can then, if it so wishes amongst us alders, to schedule a public hearing and actually go forward. So those are kind of two routes we're up to. Doesn't sound like we're gonna let it die here. Although that happens in committees a lot, but I see no point to it. There's a process involved, and even at the last meeting when there's more of us, we all were in agreement to that.
Right.
Right, yeah.
So I'll do that. I'll make a motion to do, because we had a general consensus amongst the planning commission,
the larger
Right.
body.
Right, and it doesn't mean that it dies here.
Okay.
You just said it can be brought up again in common council.
Yeah,
I'll make a motion to decline as presented.
I'll second.
all right. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. So this would be then forwarded on to, I'm assuming we can get it on next week's Tuesday meeting, or it'd be the meeting after?
I believe there should be time to get this on for for discussion at next week's common council.
She could make a motion to approve if she so desires, and then the rest of us can vote on it. Or else we could make a motion to approve as presented. That's the way that's
To make the
that's
motion
fair
to.
enough to her.
So potentially Alderperson Akers at next week's meeting could put forward a motion to hold the public hearing. Correct? Or the alderpersons could not vote on that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's, maybe I'm wrong, but
So I have to come back next Tuesday?
You had to anyway, sir. It's not something that would.
we can't,
That's fine, but I just want to know, I want you to explain to me in, general terms. I have to come back here next Tuesday and do this all over again.
you're,
But I
you're
mean,
most,
There's gonna be more commissioners here next.
there'll be older people here.
but it wouldn't be a public hearing, so technically there wouldn't be public comment. Correct?
Yeah, you know, Mike.
True.
But your fastest route would be going through the Board of Zoning Appeals. And most, your safest. It cost you $300, but that does suck. I'm sorry about that. I wish we could waive that as opposed to
Right,
anything else.
right.
Yeah, do you understand now, where your lay of the land?
Apply for a variance.
That's your choice, but I think that's your safest bet if I'm not reading one of the variance members.
Yeah.
It's good, you're fastest, I think, would it not be? Yeah.
So, yes. 11, Community Development Managers Report.
Nothing new to report this evening.
I got a question though. How's the Edgerton Senior Living? Did that come in actually with the plan or no?
I believe that Christie and engineering staff met with them last week. So I think that it was a pre-submittal meeting, so I think that they're getting close to getting plans into us.
Okay. I keep meaning, I got an email and I'm confused by it, but my days get lost and I didn't call him back, and it sounded like it happened, and
As far as it may have, I wasn't at that meeting, but I think it was just a pre-submittal meeting.
do you remember the one, right? We approved it like 6 times? Mm-hmm. All right.
And then there's the, appointment of an alternate member too.
Yes, there is that opening. Have anything?
No, I remember the mayor talked to the one lady.
No, she didn't come. She
didn't wanna do it?
And I haven't heard from him that
Oh, okay.
she does.
I believe that Christie forwarded some resumes or applications to the mayor or
Oh,
HR.
okay.
Yeah, somebody on another city's planning,
I think
Staff?
plan staff from West Dallas.
that's kind of what I heard.
But lives in Greenfield?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to tell you my dealings with West Dallas today. Item 12,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
second? I'll second.
All in favor?
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries, hopefully before rain.